Hello, everybody. We're back. On this recap, Kristen is not with us. She was having 2 days in a row of technical difficulties. Well, she wasn't having technical difficulties. Duke Energy, they had their power out for no reason. It's not raining or nothing, but...
Oh, wow. I thought it was raining. Wow. Okay.
I think yesterday it was, but we are in Central Florida with unseasonable highs. We don't typically get into the triple digits down here.
Okay.
The ocean keeps us regulated, but it was 100 degrees the other day.
Oh.
And yeah. It is lower humidity than usual, which is nice, so it's not quite the swamp that it could be, but yeah, we were too busy, so we couldn't really reschedule it, so you and I are going to go with it, just the two of us.
Yes.
But so, starting with Claws, this was episode 3 of season 3 called Welcome to the Pleasuredome. I saw the preview, and I was like, oh god, they're going to be in an Eyes Wide Shut sex club.
I remember the preview, but I somehow forgot until we got to that scene. So I was re-surprised. I was like, uh-oh.
Niecy Nash in that netting, that bodysuit.
Okay, I have a few things to talk about how amazing she looked in this episode. So first off, yes, she looked amazing. I love that she's like, does this look like how it looks in the picture? It's like, it doesn't matter how it looks in the picture. You look amazing. Like, why? Like, I don't care what it's supposed to look like. You look great. The other moment when the episode starts, I don't know if you remember, it's like watching her wake up and be like glamorous and like she's wearing her silk and like whatever. I was like, wow, she looks amazing. And then of course, like it's rudely interrupted by Jen's kids. She's just like feeling herself and like really happy, it seems like. And then she's like, I need a new place.
She has such an hourglass figure.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, I believed that, but we were seeing her in like a bra and panties and like fishnets, like just stockings. And I was like, oh, that's all there. It should, as the kids say, snatched. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, she looks amazing. Yeah.
So, okay, starting off, yes, she is still living with the Hussers, because I forgot that was their house. And so at first I was kind of like, what is happening here?
Yeah, I kind of forgot that too. Yeah.
Because Roller's there, it's all of them are there. He was making her very, they kept calling it whiskey meat, which I was like, that feels like...
He specifically said first fried bologna with Jack Daniels, and I was like, I did not know that was a thing.
Were you kind of curious though?
But I was like, because like, do I eat bologna? No. Have I had it? Yes. And was it good? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like a person who's like, ew, bologna. Like, it's salty and it tastes good. What's in it? I don't know. But
I've never been a fan of bologna, but I was like a good ham. Like, sure, I might toss a little bit of whiskey into my ham next time I'm frying it up.
I'm curious how he was prepping it, because I just want to know. Like, is it good? Because, like, I'm just imagining it's, like, salty. Like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem
kind
horrible.
Of sweet, maybe woody, like oaky, or,
Yeah.
We need a cookbook from Roller.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it'd be any good, because to quote him from later on in the episode, buttons are for gluttons. But I did write my notes in chronological order.
Okay.
I change up how I do it almost every time, and I never really have figured out which way works best. But I have to say, because I don't think we've talked about her, but I was so thrilled that Mandy is still on the show. How do you feel about Mandy, the realtor?
Oh, yeah. Every time she appears, I'm always surprised. I was like, oh, okay, you're back. You're like, and I do like her, and I do like that she's just like, okay, so you, wait, what was it? That she's like, I want to make sure I'm in a building with Black people. And she's like, what about a Black doorman? And
does the doorman count?
Yeah. And Desna's like, no. She's like, okay, well then no to this one. It's just like, yeah, like what is happening? No, she is always like funny because it's always something silly, whatever building they're talking about.
Well, and it's like we get these weird, because she's never been a presence. I would say she's been in all 3 seasons, probably like no more than 3 episodes per season. Like this is probably maybe the 5th time we've seen her.
Yeah.
And we just always get these weird glimpses into her life. Because I feel like the last time we saw her, wasn't she in jail?
Yeah, she was arrested for something, which I forget what it was.
And I would even say I want more of her, but sometimes, less is more. So I'm not sure, but I do love that level of continuity with the show, that it doesn't feel like Because with as much that has changed tonally with the show, I like that it's still the same show.
Yeah, she also is an interesting character because she always has like a plastered smile on her face and is always positive. But clearly there is some darkness there that would be interesting to explore, like to see like what's going on with her when she's not working, you know? And I think we did see her a lot in the first season because that whole plot was Desna trying to upgrade her salon, right?
Yes.
So we were seeing her more often about doing that. But yeah, I guess now Desna needs a new place because she wants like her privacy.
Yeah, and it appears she found one, correct?
Yeah, so she found a new place, and then I know I'm going ad of order now, but at one point she talks to Dean and Virginia, and I feel like something's gonna happen between Dean and Virginia that I was not expecting. Yeah, because I know she was on Molly, but like at one point Virginia was like kind of talking about like, ooh, I saw some cute boys or whatever, like seemed like excited to talk to new men.
Well, she met that guy. That was EJ, was it not?
Okay, and then that random thing okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting worked up.
Go for it, yeah.
What the hell is EJ doing? Because first, he seemed like, I just want to see my daughter. Then he seemed weirdly like, I want sole custody or something, you know? And then he's just at the food place that's next to Jen's salon randomly for no reason. And then bumps into Virginia and knows who she is. Something weird is happening with him, and I'm very worried. And
well, he introduced himself to Virginia as Eric, because for a hot minute I didn't even clock that it was him until the second time where I was like, he's got that beard. I was like, that's definitely the same guy.
Yeah.
But I was kind of going the opposite direction where I was kind of like, okay, we established him as a hostile presence, so I was like, he's going to end up being a good guy. And because he seemed really great with what was her name? What's the daughter's name?
I don't know the daughter's name. Oh, but
write it down.
But we're talking about Jen's daughter.
Yeah. He seemed really great with her at the end. And also, side note, I don't recall if this was always like, I guess it had to have been. It was like this, so never mind. But I love what a good dad Bryce is.
Me too. I think he's always been like that since like the first season. He seems very attentive.
And he's a very interesting character in a way that I didn't guess when the show started. I wasn't like, I bet you Bryce is going to have layers. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I really like him, and I love them as a couple in a way that snuck up on me. And
yeah, especially after last season when they were dealing with the whole issues between their relationship.
Which is, I mean, we're dealing with a very similar thing on Big Little Lies. I'm noticing there's a lot of crossover in themes between Big Little Lies and Claws.
It's so crazy how similar the shows are. Like, like, truly. Yeah, but their relationship was obviously rocky last season, and it's nice to see them kind of, like, united as one and not having, like, any conflict, at least right now.
Yeah, and though it is an extreme issue to deal with, I do think it is interesting that, you know, an affair isn't always the death of a relationship, you know?
Yes, yeah.
Like, yeah. And that's kind of interesting to see, because I think that's sort of realistic, you know? And of course, depending on the means of the characters, like Big Little Lies, we're dealing with wealthier people, but I was like, these people have money too. And so it is much easier to kind of part ways when you have means and stuff. But I'm finding them both interesting. And I don't know, that really did surprise me how much I like Brienne. That's her name. The daughter's name.
Yes. Yeah.
And I like that we're even getting to know her a little bit, because it's not that I think that this show needs children on it, but I do like that she's not just a concept to us at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because part of the plot right now is her learning about her dad and getting to, like, introducing this new character. So it is nice to, like, get her perspective and, like, hear her talk about, okay, I want to meet him. Oh, does my dad know? And, like, you know, kind of things a young girl would be asking in this scenario. And, like, even, like, her being nervous, like, oh, I don't know if I want to meet him anymore. Like, those are, like, real things that I'm glad that they show that, instead of, like, I feel like other shows might just never even address the child. And I like that they actually showed what a child would be thinking.
I had EJ pegged as being, I think he's going to wind up being a good guy. I don't know. We'll see.
I guess I'm opposite. I think when he was talking to Virginia, that whole interaction was so odd to me that I feel like something is going to happen.
Okay,
and EJ is plotting something. And I don't know what it is, but it's not good. That's all I can think of.
You're probably right. So I have a question that I guess is probably a very obvious duh answer, but just because of the level of mystery and kind of, behind the scenes stuff we're dealing with. So Mac and Melba did kill Penelope. Yes.
They had their guy, what's his name? The finance?
Go.
Yeah, okay. They had him do it. It seemed like it was arranged by them, yes.
Because when Polly mentioned it to him, he seemed surprised, like he didn't know what she was talking about. And so I was wondering, and maybe I'm overthinking this, I have a tendency to do that, but I was wondering if there was another layer, because I don't know if Joe has an evil twin brother. I don't know.
I mean, that is something this show would do. So
absolutely. He seemed surprised, and the way that Mac and Melba were talking about it, we didn't get them, to my recollection, explicitly being like, well, ever since we killed Penelope and put her in Desna's salon, it Desna sent them a condolences wreath, and they made a comment about it. But there was something about it that I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was something else happening that we're not privy to just yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I thought they were implying we arranged it and now Desna knows and she's not feeling threatened by us because she sent us these flowers. So she's playing the game too. I kind of thought
That's probably it. But
that's kind of how I interpreted it.
I just wanted to say something in case that ended up because it was mostly the way Joe reacted when Polly mentioned it. He seemed like he didn't know what she was talking about.
I mean, watch you be right, and there is a twin, and we don't know that until the last episode.
Maybe he has some kind of split personality. I don't know.
Something.
Like I said, we're going full telenovela this season, so I just wanted to put it out there.
Yeah.
Melba continues to be my favorite.
So I like Melba. I don't know if I'm getting anything from Mac.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I'm a little like, oh, we don't even need you. I'm not mad, but I'm also like, why are you here?
She is operating on such a level higher than him.
Yeah,
and I guess they probably did kill Penelope because then she did the whether or not to kill Desna, where she was picking the petals, but then eating them.
And I want to believe that was the actor's choice. She was like, you know what? My character would do this. I know it's not in the script, but this is necessary.
So right. It felt so completely.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, of course, that's how it's always done.
Yeah.
No, that was hilarious. And there's apparently someone named the Professor.
Okay, literally in my notes, I wrote, who is the Professor? I was like, who is this? Because, they did reference that. I was like, what is that? Or who is that?
So there's someone, I'm assuming, outside of or beyond the governor, Tripp, who is the Professor, who is and it made it seem like that's the top dog of this, crime totem pole.
Yeah.
So to go back to the party, Polly intercepted a message and they found out the governor was going to be at a party. And when they got there, it was a crazy Republican sex club or something.
Yeah, I love that they were like, of course they would be doing this shit. And you're like, I love the reaction to realizing.
And I loved that it wasn't populated with models. It was people that look like they would be at a weird sex club.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought that was such a great detail.
Yeah, and I thought that was interesting, when the glasses, the champagne glasses were passed, I did notice it, fizz up a bit, but I didn't really see them drop anything in there. And then
he did.
Yeah, okay, so I missed that part, but I was like, what's going on? And then Desna was like, no thanks. And I was like, uh-oh, all of them. And then somebody said, the guy that was, that Quiet Anne was flirting with in order to get more information. Because she saw that he gave a donation or whatever money towards the governor. So I was like, oh, they're all on Molly. Uh-oh. What's going to happen? Virginia gets kicked out. I don't know why she got kicked out.
And the pig talking to her, that was real weird.
Okay. My mouth was I truly was like, oh my, I'm shocked. I know what I'm watching. I know what show I'm watching, right? But somehow they're able to do something in every episode where I'm like, that pig just talked. Okay. This is happening in this show right now. Like, I'm watching a show where a pig is talking. Like, it's just always shocking to me. Of course, she's on Molly, so maybe I guess that's part of her experience with that. But
and still, she has the magic eye. So
I do miss the eye patch. But it seemed like they were like, well, you need to wear a Venetian mask in this episode, so you can't have the eye patch anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you feel robbed of Jen at this party?
I love that she was like, oh, I never get to go to the fun stuff. Like, I like that she was a little disappointed. And it would have been nice to see her there.
Mm-hmm.
But the party, it just seemed crazy. And then like Polly and Quiet Anne, when they were just like hugging each other and they couldn't stop like touching each other. And then I think Quiet Anne's like, Desna, you're so sparkly and like
so shiny.
Like, yeah. Like
it's like the most animated we've seen Quiet Anne.
Yeah, I love that though. That was awesome to see like her kind of do different things and even talk about like sleeping with that guy, I mean, she keeps referencing her ex, which I'm like, I'm over this relationship, but sure, whatever.
Well, I had forgotten she was married to a man because she said that in the episode.
I forgot that too. Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting because when they were talking, first of all, that was interesting that she even did that. And then when they had the conversation about her sleeping with the man, I thought it was very interesting seeing that dynamic between them. And they even made a distinction that stood out to me that I thought was interesting because I don't remember which one. I think it might have been Arlene. But when they said she slept with a man, Arlene said, with a penis and all.
Yeah.
So it's like they were really getting to this place where it felt like, because it's like not all gender is in your head, you know what I mean?
No,
and I was like,
I picked up on that as well, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting that they tackled that because I don't think many shows would, you know. So I
and
like
to do it
that.
so casually, yeah. Because I actually think that's better. I think it's better to just treat it like normal and not, shine a bunch of neon lights and be like on a very special episode.
Sure, yeah. Especially for this show, it's way better for them to just like keep it light and just be like, oh yeah. I really liked that.
So I guess the only thing that we really needed to explain about the party was that Desna did find out from the governor that he was taking bribes and building presumably for profit prisons?
Yeah, like the money that he's taking is basically to help create private prisons, but obviously not legally, or like, I don't know, I guess through loopholes they're creating these private prisons.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure how that was working out, like how that worked, but obviously we know it's bad, right? Mm-hmm. And then we also found out that he's into being tased. So that was okay. And maybe in the party, I don't know if you watched the man juggling dildos.
I did not see that.
It was a very prominent part for me, at least.
Okay.
And so when the governor brought out the taser, I thought that was a dildo. And I was like, no, it's too much. It's because I was just like, that's too large. And then he like turned it on. I was like, okay, that's a whole other thing too. But at least I was worried for Desna, what she was gonna have to do with that dildo.
Well, so was she.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was like, uh-oh. And then it was a taser, which was also scary. But at least she didn't get tased. And he was into himself. Or I guess he wanted to do both, but he also wanted himself to get tased. So that was something I was like, oh, thank goodness. Like, I was just like, I really hope Desna's okay, you know?
We mentioned Roller, but then we didn't get into his whole thing. For starters, he had a makeover scene complete with musical montage with Polly.
Loved the scene, and it took me a second. Polly was dressed up as Desna, right?
Is that what it was? I noticed that her whole thing changed.
I was like, why did she change? And what's going on with her outfit? She's wearing like a jumpsuit and like something Desna. Oh my gosh, she's Desna. It took me a while to get there during their little like montage, but I was like, okay. And I just love that it's like he had to do walking lessons with a book on his, like all these like etiquette, like
My Fair Lady. Yeah,
My Fair Lady-esque like things that like, I love that his walk is so, that he like the book drops immediately. Like everything was hilarious in that scene. And I know I've said it before, I've always been questionable, or I've always questioned Roller's, motives, but I'm like, finally, like, okay, he's really trying. this is a cute scene. It's funny. And that he's really trying to impress Desna and he wants to be with her.
It does seem like he has, if not changed, like he is making efforts to.
Exactly. So I really appreciated that. And then, like, I thought he looked great. I mean, like, he obviously is a good-looking guy, so he looks great regardless, you know?
I'm going to miss the open shirts if we're done with that.
Yeah, I wonder if I feel like he's going to go back to those shirts immediately, but we'll see. But yeah, so he was really trying to impress her. He wanted to take her out on a date. They arranged for a date the next day or whatever. And then unfortunately, yeah, he's like helping that random woman who obviously Mac and Melba hired to get him to help her with her car or whatever. And then they kidnap him, which I was like, oh, okay. What? Which that has to be horrible because this is the second time he's been kidnapped. And like, you know, like it has to be something that he's like, great, this again, you know?
I feel like he's going to be like, this is old hat at the point.
Yeah.
And it does appear by the preview that relatively quickly next week, Desna's going to be in on it. So I'm glad that we're not going to have to deal
good.
with it.
Because I felt bad because she was pissed. Like, she seemed so angry. Another random thing, she wore a burgundy outfit that had, like, feathers on her chest.
Feathers?
She looks fucking amazing. Like, I just have to point that out that she...
It was so good.
Like, truly, like, she always looks great, obviously. But, like, this episode, I just loved, like, every outfit, every moment she had. She just looks phenomenal. So I just wanted to point that out real quickly. But anyway, yeah, she was really disappointed when he wasn't there. And I felt bad for her because, like, emotionally, she's been through so much, you know? So, like, I'm glad that next week it won't be, like, a dragged out thing where she thinks Roller just up and left her or something.
And so the last thing that we'll mention is that Dean and thus Virginia were going to move in with Desna, but at the last minute didn't because Dean is going through a type of, I don't know if I would call it a crisis. He's certainly going through an independent streak.
Yeah, wanting to like, I don't know. But it seemed, this is why I think something's going to happen between Virginia and Dean, because Virginia seems really unhappy where they are. And she was like, yeah, I want to move in here. This will be nice. And he was like not willing to have a conversation about it or, you know, whatever, like a thing you would want to do in a relationship to compromise or something. And it just seemed a little like tense.
And we also have to remember Virginia is meant to be like 20 or 21, you know?
Yeah, that's true. So it is like she's probably like, I'm tired of staying in this one place.
She might have oats left to sow.
And that's the other thing. As much as she likes Dean, maybe she is like, I kind of still want to like meet other people and stuff. So, and I guess I assumed when they got together that they would be together for the rest of this show. Like whatever, wherever the show goes, they're going to stay together. But I'm kind of feeling like, ooh, it seems like something's going to happen in their relationship. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think they might not be in a relationship by the end of the season.
Yeah. So
I'm getting that feeling at least.
So we'll have to see. So that was pretty much it. That was Welcome to the Pleasuredome. So it wasn't my favorite. It felt like a lot of, not quite filler, but we were progressing the plot a lot.
Sure.
In this episode. There wasn't a ton that happened.
It was very helpful that I got to comment on so many of Desna's outfits. So, like, I feel like maybe they knew, like, okay, we're just moving it along. Let's make sure she looks phenomenal every second of this show right now. So, yeah, I agree with you. It wasn't like a whole lot happened. It was like gearing up for this, like, roller kidnap situation. But I still enjoyed it, of course. And I thought it was hilarious. And yeah, I wanted more Jen, of course, you know. But, like, I thought it was still a good episode.
Okay, well, I guess we will check back in next week after the 4th episode.
Alrighty.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.